All right, welcome back to another video in our Q&A FAQ series here. We've got Sua Truong. He is the founder of Commercial Financing Mastery. He has mentored well over 300 professionals in the commercial financing space. And that's really rare. It's really hard because nobody out there is teaching how to navigate the commercial financing world. You can take courses here and there. You can go watch certain videos, but no one's actually mentoring you and actually helping you to close the deals. Sua Truong, welcome to the next episode here that we have, and where we're going to rapid fire questions. What is your first tip and advice for anyone that's watching this and that wants to learn about commercial financing?
Check out the link below. Everything's there. Register for our weekly webinars and weekly workshops that we currently have every week. I'm out there teaching. I'm out there trying to give back to the community what I got learned, what I've got over the past 30 years. So
nice. Well, today's theme, so based on the questions that we required, and we got some people submitting the applications and the questions, is about qualifications and approval. This is a common topic, common area that we get a lot of questions about. So I'm just going to go rapid fire here. These are the most common questions I was able to extrapolate. And then, if you guys have any questions of your own, let us know in the comments below. We do read all your comments. And then, if you'd like to come and meet with Sua live in person and bring a file, as he said, he's welcoming you and inviting you to come join us at our next workshop. All right. So question number one, what credit score do you need to qualify for a commercial loan?
Well, the short answer is you don't need your personal credit score, but it does help. It does help. Here's why. Certain lenders will want a certain type of credit score, like 680, for example, or higher. Other lenders would say, 600 is okay. Alternative lenders don't really worry about that as much. And even private mortgage investment company, even less. They worry more about equity. So when it's a commercial loan, depends on what kind of money you're after, right? You have the cheap money, then the requirements are much higher. You went after, expensive money, hard money loan, a family office, that drops. Also, there is a difference between company credit versus personal credit. So in commercial lending, we worry more about the company credit, meaning that if the company has a credit history, they have some vendors, they have some people who trust them, give them terms, 60, 90-day pay. They build credit for the company. The other thing that there's also a trick that I've learned over the years, and for the right person, I helped out already with them to how to get out, because sometimes the TransUnion, sometimes Equifax have a low credit score, but some lenders have a high internal credit score, higher than TransUnion and Equifax. And there's a trick how to learn how to get that and access those lenders with the higher numbers than you have at your own central credit bureau.
It's especially in the US more so than in Canada, right? So with the EIN number and the Dun and Bradstreet, right? And there's ways, in the US, particularly if you're watching this from the US, there's a lot more flexibility on leveraging your commercial or your corporate credit score, right? Your business credit score versus your personal credit score, your Equifax TransUnion, right? And then also based on the capital stack, right? Which is a word that if you guys are joining us, capital stack is a way that commercial financing stacks the loans, right? So maybe you can explain a bit about that and how that can be used over multiple, maybe several loans or several, financing.
Because sometimes, sometimes depending on your credit score on your company, if it's newer, example, I think we talked about this before, that they don't have any credit history. So what do you do, right? And they say, well, because we don't know you and you don't know us and you don't have a credit history with any way we can find. So we'll lower the loan amount to give to you. For example, if you got $1 million loan that you need, $1 million property you need, and you only have 25% down, $250K, you need a $750K loan. And the lender says, so we'll give you 50% or maybe 55. So if they only give you half, you're still out $250K. So having a capital stack means an alternative lender, a B lender, family office can give you the remaining of the amount to be able to
you pay a higher interest rate and everything for that hard
that
part of money,
that component.
But it helps to build up
side. Yes, on the residential, it's tougher to do that. On the commercial side, they understand that's a necessity. It's a necessary evil, right? So as long as you can qualify for the debt servicing, they don't care.
Right. Okay. And that's why in commercial financing, the numbers need to make sense more than,
Yes.
right? So,
Yeah.
okay.
They don't care about your hairstyle, like mine, it's like
Or mine, right? You got all right. So question number 2, do lenders require 3 years of financials? What if the business is new? I think you kind of touched a bit on that.
Yeah. So if you have 2 to 3 year financials, right,
Yep.
then they give you better terms. Then they give you higher loan to value because they
Right.
have a risk appetite. If you're much newer, they're going to lower that amount. But it also depends on industry type. High risk industry like accommodation, hospitality versus medical industry, which is lower risk. So that has some leeway.
Yeah.
And how to overcome some of those is having a CPA, for example, helping you with future projected income. They know the industry average. They know the industry average of medical doctor, a physician, like a veterinary clinic, dentist, right?
Yeah.
They don't know restaurants all over the map, right? So it's tough.
Right.
Hotel, motel, but it's really getting hit these days, right? So depends on the industry that they get into, that the client is involved in.
Yep.
Right now, I mean, infrastructure, for example, it's just as good as medical industry right now.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, because they want to build out the AI data centers and they need to upgrade all the infrastructure for the power cables and the power grid and everything like that, right? So
big time. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to the next question then. Okay. What is the minimum down payment for a commercial property? How do you calculate that?
Commercial property down payment, the standard number is 25%, but there are exceptions, meaning the exception is that if it's owner occupied or is it a rental, right? Okay. If you're just leasing it out to all your tenants, then it's 25%. It's just, they don't go any higher. It's a high risk, right? If you work your business out of there, some of them may go up to 100%, like small business loan, SBA loans in the United States, SBL in Canada, Canadian small business financing loan. They will go up to 85, 90%, some even 100%.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the situation. Is it a rental or is it a owner operator business?
But sort of a case by case, as we're doing it, right?
Correct.
Okay, and that is why commercial financing is not as cookie cutter as residential, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Moving on to the next question. What is LTV? We hear this word all the time. Can you explain it for anyone that might be a beginner that's coming into the industry, obviously? And how do lenders calculate it for different property types, which is kind of the segue to what you just gave us there?
Yeah, loan to value is basically on risk tolerance. How much loans will you extend to this industry? How much loans will you extend to this client? How much loans will you extend to that property? There is so much in play in regards to how old the property is, right? Yep. New versus old. For example, everything is equal. Say you're owning the property, you want to move in the business in there. Yeah. And like, sure, you said 100% earlier. You get 85, 90% earlier. Yeah, but the property is old, it's dated. So the remaining life of that property is less. You know what I mean? So that means the debt servicing can only be calculated based on how many years of that property is left. So the amortization, having a short amortization affects the loan to value. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. Right?
So so for those who don't understand it, it's like you have to calculate how long the loan is paid off for, and then the risk tolerance. So they have different layer. Industry is one risk. For example, if they buy a medical clinic, the risk is low because nobody gets bankrupt out of medical industry. Like rarely does it happen. A veterinary clinic, a dentist, they either die or retire. They don't go bankrupt. Right. A restaurant, on the other hand, a hotel, motel, on the other hand, turbulence, right? Economy, whatever the economy is, it affects them directly. So the loan to value, meaning the purchase price or the value of that property is affected by those industry. Okay. So when you say, Sue, but it's a regular office building, but a doctor moves in and he can finance up to 100. But if I move in and I just operate a design consulting service out of there, it's lower. Correct. Same office building.
And it's not like it's not discrimination or anything like that.
It is, yeah. It's not discrimination. It's a risk discrimination.
Risk tolerance, risk discrimination.
Risk tolerance. Yeah. So
Which
It
actually, by the way,
happens.
you do teach this in your workshops, or your master
Oh
classes.
yeah,
Yeah,
I go deeper about how to
yeah,
overcome this,
yeah.
all that scenario that I've just briefly covered.
Yes,
And there's ways to overcome these things. It just have
yeah.
to figure out how to do it, right?
Right. So speaking of workshops, by the way, in the description below here, Sua is giving away two very powerful tools. One is called the COI Playbook. It is a way for you to become the center of influence, so you generate leads, business is coming to you instead of you chasing them. And then the second one, which
Yep.
is a very powerful calculator for LTV and DSCR and these things, is what's called the SBA SBL Deal Screener. So it's got multiple tabs in it. It's a proprietary tool that Sua himself, over 30 years, has been able to create and has used. All his mentees have successfully used it to save time, to be able to analyze deals. Click it, get that, and then also register for the live workshop. We put on a live workshop every single week, sometimes even twice, depending on how popular and how full they get. But they do fill up. And because they do, make sure that you register early. Make sure you show up. Make sure you whitelist. I'll check your junk and spam folder for the emails. Make sure you show up. And then when you do, you can ask your questions live. So you can actually bring real deals to Sua. You can ask him live there. And of course, for some of you who may qualify, you may want to have further education and actually move on to mentorship, where you start to learn how to master commercial financing deals. But we'll see you in the workshop, and then we'll make a decision from that point, right? Let's move on to question number 5. So why do commercial lenders care about the property's income more than the borrower's income?
Well, the short answer is, what happens if you become bankrupt? What happens if you get injured?
Mm.
You can't do your job. You can't make income. So your income is moot.
Yeah.
However, if you operate the business out of there and the business goes down, I just kick you out and I take over the property and I get a new tenant in.
Yep.
Problem solved.
Yep.
Right. So that's why they care more about property's income than your personal income.
Right. Or if it's like a strip mall and I'm purchasing the property, but I've already got tenants in there, it doesn't matter about my income, because
doesn't matter.
The tenants are paying the rent roll and stuff, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's commercial law. It's not PPSA, personal law.
Yep.
And they just attach all the liability towards a property.
Right.
So in the worst case scenario, they move you aside, they take it over.
What about, I want to go a little bit deeper. What about like if it's equipment or, like Goodwill, like how does that factor into this?
Well, whenever you sign over a loan, you sign over a personal guarantee and a whole bunch of the corporate guarantee. So they have the rights. Commercial law gives them the full right to take over, to possess the property, take over everything, including your goodwill, including your reputation, your brand, if there is any, right? Wow. Your franchise.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's a brutal world in the commercial space, but that's how it is. It's nothing to do with feelings, nothing to do with how they feel about you as a person.
Yeah.
Right. It's commercial.
Wow. Okay. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you want us to be producing more of these videos in the series, we will be popping out these kind of questions almost every single week as we get them from you guys, as well as also when we organize these workshops, we get a lot of questions in the workshop. So we also take note of them and then we answer them in this video. So make sure you subscribe, click the bell notification so you don't miss out on the next video. Come and join us at the workshop. Go down to the description, grab the tools. It's absolutely complimentary. Come register for the workshop. That's also complimentary. And then, of course, some of you who are more senior, more experienced, you might want some really specialized mentorship. Well, come to the workshop, speak to Sua, see whether or not he has, capacity to bring you on as a mentee, and we'll further the conversation at that point. All right. With that, we'll see you in the next video. Take care.